Well, good morning. It is good to be with you today, and especially as we're on our final day of this series together. The title of this one is self-explanatory, but let me expound to give perspective, as this is a specific lesson I've learned in the midst of pressure, and one I find is an important topic in the day we live in. See, it's so easy to watch something either on a device, whether it be a phone, a computer, an iPad, the screen, to listen to things or to scroll in hopes that our tanks of peace and satisfaction will be filled. But we all know that ultimately doesn't work. We know how we are left feeling on the other side of that. Even when what we're watching is good, godly, and encouraging, we can still find ourselves consistently running on empty. What I realized in the midst of the pressure was no matter how many sermons I watched, how much theology or worship songs I listened to, how many meetings I went to, what my soul needed more than anything was to praise, worship, and delight in my Creator. I needed, and this is daily, to submit my life fully and completely to God's work in my life, and in doing so, delight and worship Him. That no matter how much I saw someone else worship Him and praise Him, no one could do that for me. What I realized is that, watching people worship, listen to people talk about theology, that's all good. But if I'm not doing it for myself, I'm not building that relationship, and I'm going to be just as far from Him. So if I wanted to be close from God, if I wanted my life to experience the fruitfulness given through Christ, I would have to choose to worship God. And in that time of my life, I counted my life as something more like life was about me. And the reality is it's not. I believed a narrative of who I was supposed to be, what I was supposed to do, and how life was supposed to go. And in doing so, wore some heavy yokes or expectations that were not from God. And this seemed to cause the flow of grace to slow in my life. And the challenges seemed larger as God seemed smaller. And let me tell you, that's a hopeless place to be. But thank God for His grace, that it is sufficient, and in my weakness He's strong. As I began to lift my eyes and come to the throne of grace and worship Him and praise Him and give Him thanks, my perspective began to change. My circumstances didn't change much, but my reality did, and my reality then began to affect my circumstances as I lived in faith and hope and love. So why do I tell you this? Really, why have we discussed all these things this week? It's because if we expect to be transformed to look like Christ, yet we don't desire and seek after Him and His ways, we'll stay living in ideals instead of experiencing what Christ made available through His life, death, and resurrection. Ultimately, we have to worship God for ourselves. No one can do it for us. Manna Church, I love you. I'm so grateful for you. I know that you are called and chosen by God, and that He has a plan and a purpose for your life, and that we get to worship the King of Kings together, but no one can do it for us. We have to press in. So may we press into His grace, His love, and go change the world together. God bless you.